This conference will now be recorded.
8:30, stand say the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday, May 27th, Board of Supervisors meeting. Sydney's under weather a little bit this morning, so I'll be running the meeting. It'll also be available on GoToMeeting if you'd like to join there. We have agenda in front of us. If there's any changes or anything, I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve the agenda.
I second it.
Approved. Pam, second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Passes. We have the minutes of the May 20th meetings, 2 of them, and then we also had the claims.
Make a motion to approve the minutes and claims meetings.
Mark made a motion,
I second it.
Pam has seconded. Roll call.
Roll call, Jim,
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Todd.
Aye. Passes. No county attorney here today. No sheriff here today. Down to number 5, department head discussion. Do we have any? Nothing? We will move on. County engineer update.
Zipping right through here.
Here.
It's been a rough weekend.
Number 7, appoint member to Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustments. I believe we have 2 individuals that are interested in the position. Vince is here with us.
Yep.
And then we had an email from
Yep.
Pam that
Yep.
John Heeman was interested. So,
So we're talking 2 different areas of the county. And I was asked to see if we could find someone farther in the north or west area. So John Heeman has agreed to go for the vote for the Board of Adjustment as Vince Marishi. So it's kind of nice to have a couple people that are interested, so.
and I know them both very well. They
Yeah.
both service
Both.
very well.
You came to the meeting, so you have any comments or anything that you'd like to say, or?
I guess if there's any questions, just, the email I sent you, current board's been doing great. No single issue deal, just keep the county moving forward and keep it a great place like it's been. Just bring the agriculture perspective, but, yeah,
Which is nice, both of you are in that same boat, both farmers and.
yeah. So, yeah.
You have experience working with other boards? Have you been on
Yeah,
other
I mean,
boards?
I've served on a lot of boards since, currently on the Heartland Power
Heartland.
Board and a township trustee and the elevator board before that. And, the county extension and the district conservation back in the 80s and 90s. So, there's no such thing as a one-person board. You gotta work with people and discuss it and come up with the best decision. Just like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve Vince Murphy for planning and zoning board of adjustment.
Mark has made a motion. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Jim has seconded. Roll call.
Roll call Todd,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Well, thank you, I think.
Yes, thank you.
You volunteered.
Yeah, careful what you push for. No, you'll do good.
Yes, you will.
Okay, moving on. Discussion and possible action on security light in New Haven. I guess I have my feelings that the way we are approached, that the landowner doesn't want it, and
Well, that must not be totally true, because I stopped and talked to the guy who lives right there, and he said he'd take on the bill for it. Apparently it was billed to the lady across the street, and she moved out, somebody else bought the place, and that lady must be, said no. So the guy that lives there, he said he would more than happy to pay for the bill.
okay, you were out there this weekend?
Friday.
Okay, good. Somebody was talking to him when I went by, so I just continued on, and so if he's, I guess if he's willing, then,
Yeah, he wants to pay for it.
Yeah, he didn't know they were gonna take it down, or the option was to take it down, so he really wants it.
Yeah.
So I'll get the number to Rich, I guess, or Interstate or Alliance, I guess it is now.
Probably keep Rich in the loop because he's the one that sent us the email.
Right. And Alliant contacted him, so. So you need a motion to the effect that,
well, yeah, I guess it doesn't say to take it out or leave it in.
so I make a motion, or I move that we reply to Alliant to leave the pole in if in fact the individual next to the pole is willing to pay the bill.
Anna's made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any comments? I guess I should have been doing that the last one too, but did you ask him about, or maybe we need to ask Alliant, when it does burn out, will Alliant change the bulb? Or,
I don't know how that works.
Be any different than any other yard light situation across the country.
Looks like an LED one, so it should last forever.
okay. I just don't want him climbing up that pole and change the light, you know, I mean, I think he's a pretty good guy, so he'd, get a lift or something if he had to do it. So, okay,
Roll call Mark.
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Todd.
hi. Thanks for looking into that, Mark. Okay, item 9, meetings attended.
I had a Minnesota Water Conservation District meeting. They're renting the billboard on the east side of Osage in order to put up advertisement for themselves, and that's gonna be happening here soon, probably up next month. And it'll be up for a 4-month period. I believe that's how long you rent it for. NRCS District Conservation List went over a number of the programs that are continuing and all actually starting up. The district's farm that they have up by Otrano, they're gonna put a little bit over 4 acres, renew it back into CRP. And then cover crop applications are now being accepted for the county. I went through a number of resolutions that go to the state in regards to improvements that people want to see happen within the rural areas. I have all that, but I'm not gonna go through all that, but it's, so they went through that one by one as far as yes, they want to see that being talked about. No, they don't want to see it being talked about, or further discussion needs to be taking place. One example, I'll just say one example. One would be, the last one on the list is the state has found that they have, I can't remember how much ground that the state owns that they don't feel is being utilized anymore. So one of the resolutions would be that if there's state ground that's going to be sold, that it needs to be sold for a public purpose. And part of the discussion within the General Water Conservation District members was that all sounds good, but you kind of wonder what would the public purpose be and how well would it be taken care of? I mean, it's kind of not defined real well as far as, okay, it's going to be a public purpose, but where are you going with that? So they felt that should need some further discussion to be better clarified. Resolutions such as that. There's a number of different ones also. I guess that's good. That's all I have.
Okay, I attended a Mitchell County Emergency Preparedness meeting, as did Sydney. They talked about the next steps for the Salamander system, which is the tracking system for people and resources. Has a snapshot of your photo on a card that you carry if you need to get into either this county if there's an emergency or some other county to assist. So they're going to kick that system off, starting with collecting information from the sheriff's department, I believe, first. They also talked about the emergency notification system for bad weather. We're not using the Iowa one. So we said maybe we need to get out some communication to other people in the county as to the system that we are currently using, because it seems to work very well. The Iowa one pulls in weather issues from everywhere, which, can be somewhat daunting to your email system. And so we pay for this one a slight amount, but it seems to be working real well and worked very well during COVID. I had another meeting, the North Central Iowa Juvenile Detention Center meeting, where they spoke about staffing being their biggest challenge. They're also reviewing pay for this next year and pay scale raises, standard of living raises, how to apply those. And they're taking a real close look at their video storage policies and for recording in rooms and areas, general areas, to make sure that they maintain their backup systems and that they're recording for a long enough period of time and maintaining that should something ever arise on that. So that's all I have.
At a Mitchell County Safety Committee meeting, they had a fire alarm the other day, and it took a little longer for them to get to the dispatch than they thought it would happen. And then Rachel's working on a policy for lost keys and fobs. And then I had a county social service HR meeting. We still have 19 employees. They're working on the transition to get it wound down by June 30th. And the more they look into it, the more stuff pops up. But they closed the 3 buildings, Tama, North Springs, and Chickasaw so far. And, working on a plan for sunsetting.
I had a FMC DCAT meeting. Basically, we're just kind of winding down. It's their end of the year also. Financials, we went over that. If you remember a couple months ago, I talked about we had some funds left over that we can't carry over, but we came up with a plan to transfer that money to another FMC DCAT for, I believe it's juvenile court systems. So that money will get spent. No new news on the realignment from the legislature yet. And then I attended the Links Connect with Ryan and Dave, and also the General Assistance meeting with Public Health. That's it. Moving on, manure management.
Relo 1 site, 3732 Noble Avenue, Osage. Relo 3 site, 2734 350th Street, Osage. Ted Fox, 3223 Walnut Avenue, Elma. And Mark Patterson, 1829 Corner 90th Street, St. Ansgar.
Thank you. Public comment. Keith?
I have a public comment. As you well know, the city of St. Ansgar opted out of the 2080 agreement for economic development. I was also told that the county would probably cut some of the benefits to St. Ansgar because of that. It's my understanding that the dues we paid were to have a seat on the board. And the state of Iowa has not been kind to rural cities in Iowa, small towns especially. We pay in, we'll be paying in about $5,000 a year. Over the next 11 years, the state has virtually killed the TIP program for small towns. We use TIP differently than the county does. So over this next 11 years that are coming out until they're at full valuation, we would not be able to afford to do TIP programs. One of the things that it said might be eliminated from us is ability to use TIP or lack of county participation, that sort of thing. But St. Ansgar people are still paying taxes. I'm pretty sure that the board pays into the economic development with tax money. So I don't believe that everyone should be excluded from the programs that are out there for county people.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're opting out.
Yes, you know, we're not thinking about it. They voted to do that by council vote.
And just, I don't know if you want me to comment or not, but, so our board, like the MCEDC board, they'll decide, they'll assess all the programs and the eligibility at our next meeting on Tuesday. So that goes through our board, and then from there, we'll notify you as far as what programs. Maybe they'll decide to keep other programs, maybe not. Like typically in the world of economic development, you kind of have to pay to play, and so, like, if we're not going to charge any of the cities, you know, if we allow everything for free, why would any of the cities pay for the dues?
Well, a lot of what is St. Ansgar area does not come out of the city of St. Ansgar. And all the tax money we pay dues with are out of, within the limits of St. Ansgar. Understand that? So everybody in the St. Ansgar area should not be left out.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Carpenter has a seat. Does Carpenter have a seat?
Ooh, no.
Okay,
But remember though, and we'll assess all the programs, because what's brought to my attention is like, well, Orchard doesn't have to pay, or McIntyre doesn't have to pay for the dues, but they're still, you know, have access to the services and stuff, but they also don't have the tax base that St. Ansgar does, and so those are just things that we'll have to discuss next week.
that's beneficial to the county too. That
Absolutely.
we have a good tax.
Right.
Just don't forget the taxpayers up in St. Ansgar.
Never have.
Good
And
idea.
never have. Got a question for you, Keith. So you said that there's not a member on the board, and I'm not familiar with all the people on the board of the EDC. So you're saying the city of St. Ansgar does not have a member on the EDC board?
No, there is. Sam was on the board. He's from St. Andrews, same height.
Okay, so that's why I was
He
just,
sat on the board, and when he left the St. Andrews city limits, he asked if he could be on the board. And the council said, yeah, we want you to be on there. We didn't take him on.
okay, I may have heard you wrong. I thought you said that St. Ansgar does not have a member on the board, but I may have heard you
I
wrong.
did not say, that. I
Okay.
said that I thought that the fee we would take paying was to have the right to have a board seat, someone seated. I think that's what it's for.
And you don't through Sam then, because you allowed Sam to stay on, or?
Sam left the city limits of St. Anne's
Yeah,
and asked if he could remain on. And the council said that he could. So he was sitting on there as St. Anne's representative, even though he was not living within the city limits of St. Anne's.
okay, but so that's, I'm not trying to argue with you, I'm just trying to understand it. So in essence, though, you've allowed Sam to still be representative at St. Ansgar, so St. Ansgar still does have a member on the board.
Right, not anymore.
But it'll-
We opted out.
It'll change, so because they're opting out of the 20E agreement, they lose the voting power, they lose all their voting power. So
Okay,
they had two members, they had Sam Heimer, and they also had Randy Marks. Sam represented the city, Randy Marks represented the EDC, the St. Ansgar EDC. Because they're opting out, they lose all voting power.
okay, now I understand, okay. Thank you.
He was a council member up there. And when he left city limits, we had to replace it as a council.
And that part of it was
Allowed
fine.
him to stay on the board.
I understand now.
Sam's a good guy.
If we go through the bylaws, I think Briceville City Council, St. Ansgar, there's a multiple of entities that are on the Mitchell County Economic Development Board that are representing those entities. So we just have to go back through and we'll have to redo the 2080 agreement.
It's been amended, so I just need to review it. I mean, there's one revision already, so the amendment's been prepared. And so you'll probably have that later today. And then I think I'll start with St. Ansgar, then it needs to go to Riceville, it needs to go to Stacyville, it needs to go to Osage, and then lastly, it'll come to you guys for signature.
St. Ansgar was very active with the EDC. We have a St. Ansgar EDC as well. When that matching funds thing came up through the state, St. Ansgar was the first one to apply and raise money for matching funds for that.
Okay.
So this is on the agenda next week, is that correct?
It'll,
Probably not.
like, I'll give you an update next week, like after our board meeting is Monday night. So
Okay.
I'll give you an update on Tuesday morning, but then it'll be on the agenda probably once I track down those other signatures. And so those city council meetings aren't until the second Monday of the month, so it'll be coming sometime soon.
Your meeting is a public meeting.
Correct.
So I can come.
You bet. You bet.
Be there.
Any other public comment? If not, we'll adjourn 8:54.
Got any idea what Alliant charges for